So I've got another new student this morning. This is Bambi. So Bambi lives with two other dogs, and they're all different ages and very different characters. So Bambi is the one that doesn't have an awful lot of pack mentality. So basically when she's on a walk, she just wants to be in front. She doesn't take any notice what the other dogs are doing. She's just on a mission and she's in front, and that's it. Okay, so the hardest thing that people have is sort of working this lead. And the thing with Bambi is she just constantly pulls and constantly wants to get her head down and sniff and get in front. So the lead work, walking on the lead, has been a bit of a challenge. And it is for most people, to be honest, when you've got a dog that's used to basically just leading the walk and controlling the walk. Especially the dog that doesn't have any pack mentality, so isn't used to paying any attention to what you or the other dogs are doing or where you're going. So very often the problem with the lead technique is we're not firm enough. So she's trying to put her head down. So if I'm doing a slow pull, she's going to preempt it and promptly put her head straight back down. So what we have to do is be quite jerky, because by being jerky, I'm snapping her mind out of wherever it's being fixated, which is scent, get away from the handler, pull against the lead, fixation, forward. I'm snapping all of that with this quick movement of the head. So her eyes can't lock onto anything, her nose can't lock onto anything, because I'm physically moving her head. It's not a lot, as you can see. It's nothing major, it certainly isn't cruel. But by being short and sharp, I can then drop that lead, and you see the lead goes loose. You have to have that bit. If you don't have that bit, the dog doesn't learn anything, okay? And when she starts to sniff, goes into her own little world. I'm quite firm with it. Certainly not cruel, but I'm quite firm with it. And I've got to be quite snappy with it. She's quite bad, so you know, this is a real work in progress. And yes, your arm's going to hurt and you're going to ache a little bit. Got to put the work in, or she's not going to get anywhere, you know. So as you can see, do the sharp movement with the lead. It's not a long movement, it's very short and sharp. If you do a long movement, the dog preempts it and you turn into this seesaw effect. So it's all very short and jerky. Don't know if you can see, I'm trying to show you. And then we drop the lead. So you've got to have that lead dropped so that they can see the difference, so that they can feel what's happening, so that they can learn. So there's another dog over there which she's just seen. So she's trying to sniff and I'm stopping her. Okay? Basically we've got to control this walk. Now when the dog's on a pack walk, they are not necessarily stopping and sniffing and going to the toilet everywhere and leaving their scent, because it's not safe to do that, so they wouldn't naturally do that anyway. Okay, so because of her being quite strong, putting her head down, you will have to readjust this lead quite a lot. So as you can see here, it's just that little bit too far down, so I'm going to pull it up at the back. Difficult to do one-handed, but most importantly I'm going to make sure it's right up under her jawbone. It's hard to do it with. Right up under her jawbone and coming right up behind her ear, so it's right up at the top again. That way it isn't pulling on the sensitive part of her throat, so you're not hurting her. Alright, she can't choke and you're not hurting her. The lead's in the wrong place, she can choke and you will hurt her. So always make sure that lead is in the right place. So she's starting to have a little bit of a tantrum because she just isn't getting to do what she wants to do. But we just keep on with this. So I'm basically just going backwards and forwards. I'm on the grass because there's lots of scent on the grass and obviously she wants to sniff. So I'm making it, you know, harder for her, harder for me, really to get her head tuned in more to me rather than just in her own little world. Always pull upwards, look, and never pull backwards. Always pull upwards. If you pull backwards, you're going to encourage the lead to move down her neck, which will then be in the wrong place. And even when she stops and spins round and tries to evade me, just keep walking slowly. when you've got an excited dog, it is important to keep that slow movement. I don't walk too quickly because I don't want to engage in a faster state of mind. So it really is, keep that steady, consistent pace. There's another gentleman over there. That's good. So she's looking, and I'm just giving those constant jerky checks on that lead. She's trying to get her head down and sniff. When they put their head down, they put their weight into it, so they try and move away from you even more. So that's why it's important to really get those little jerks going, to lift her head without it being a constant pull on her neck, which would be very, very uncomfortable. So as you can see, it's constant. It's not a trick. I don't do tricks. It's not a case of learn the trick, that's it, you're cured. Okay, this is teaching the dog, the conditioning part of it. I think some people think that once you've done these checks on the lead a few times it should work and that's it. It's not the case. It's constant. You've got to keep on with teaching. You know, like children, they don't learn everything all in one go. It's the repetition of it and the calm consistency that actually teaches them. So just keep going with this. What you're aiming for is that relaxed lead all the time. That's what you're aiming for. Change direction, this way. Good. So I'm starting to get more and more of a relaxed lead walk. Bring her head back. It's all about bringing her head back. Yes, the lead is a physical restraint, but more than anything, I'm communicating with it. That's why collars and harnesses don't work. There's no communication there. As you can hear, she's not choking, she's not breathing heavily, she's not rasping with her breaths. So we know the lead isn't doing anything wrong. So I'm continuing with this for quite a while, just so that you can actually see. It's constant, you know? You've got to constantly work at this with a new dog that's yet to learn how to walk on a lead. They don't know how to walk on a lead, we have to teach them. She's really quite determined now. She's going through a determined phase of getting her head down. So lots of jerky movements. Keep that steady forward pace. So they go through phases. She'll go relaxed and steady, and then she'll get determined with it again to just go in her own world and do her own thing. So this is why it's constant. But all the time we're aiming to do the checks and drop that lead down. And you can hear the breathing, there's nothing wrong. So yes, I'm firm, but I'm not hurting her. There's an apple on the floor. Now, I don't know if you noticed that, but she did look up then. She did look up at me. When they start to look up at you, that's when they're looking to you for direction, and that's what you're aiming for. So it's tiny little subtle things that mean an awful lot. Okay, so that's the lead work. So I'm now going to swap over and I'm going to put her on the long line. I'm going to do some long line work now. Okay.